such a love could be so wrong. I never knew when my life was born. Now that you're here, I know for sure. I never knew till I looked in your eyes. How would it be till the day you walked into my life? And I never knew that my heart could feel so precious and pure. One love so real. Just see you every morning. Just feel your heart beating beside me every night. Just feel this way together till the end of our time. Can I just spend my life with you? Now, baby, the days and the weeks and the years will roll by, but nothing will change the love inside you and I. Baby, I'll never find any words that could explain just how much my heart, my life, my soul you changed. When no one else understands, we tell God in the whole world I know you're my name. I love you. Touch of my hand. Oh, baby. Spend my life with you. No touch has ever felt so unusual. No deeper love I've never known. This love is true. Now and forever to you. Only for you. Can I just spend my life with you? Spend my life as I feel. Forever here with you. Just spend my life with you. And I just see you every morning when I open my eyes.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Quiet Drive. I am the Urban Black Knight. Shout out to the E Nation and Team PPU. That's peace, power, and unity. Shout out to my strong peoples who support as always. What's on the docket for tonight? We will talk a little bit about love, here on the Quiet Drive. We promote positive relations between Black men and Black women. We try to stress loving our women and bringing out the sweetness over bitterness. That is the motto here on the Quiet Drive. Sweetness over bitterness. Now let's get into tonight's topic, the ugly side of love. You know, love is a very tricky thing. It's been said that too much of a good thing isn't a good thing at all. So, even though love fulfills us and it brings us great joy and happiness, there is another side that we don't often talk about. Love has an ugly side, and that side, depending on how deep we are connected to that side, can bring a tremendous amount of pain and even tragedy. So tonight we're talking about the ugly side of love. You see, things start to get ugly with love when we allow it to blind us and we can no longer see reality. It gets even worse when we allow it to deafen us, impair our hearing, and we can no longer hear the truth. See, when you become blinded by love, there's a lot of things you can miss that are right in front of your face. You can turn on good people because you love someone so much that you can even get to the point where in your mind, they can do no wrong. And this can cause you to destroy other relationships that you may have with good people. This can turn you against good people. This can cause you to see good people as bad people, simply because you're in love with one person, to the point of being out of touch with reality. It is hard to guard against it because there are people out there, trust me, can really make us fall in love with them. They have all of the qualities that you would want. Some people are very dreamy, especially women. And being in love that hard with someone can cause us to go against our better judgment. And in many cases, it can cause us to make serious mistakes. Some mistakes you can't get back. So, how do you guard against the ugly side of love? Well, honestly, I don't know. It's happened to the best of us. I can't tell you that I haven't gone blind a time or two in my life because I was in love with a woman. I guess it can happen to any one of us at any given time. I remember losing good friends because I was in love with someone to the point of not being able to see reality for what it was. Love can make you do strange things, things you wouldn't normally do. Sometimes it can cause you to disregard other people, people you should care about. It can even cause you to disregard your own personal self, your own thoughts and ideas, your own understanding. about life. It can cause you to abandon all of these things and become somebody you shouldn't be. I've experienced this on both sides. I've lost some friends, I've gained some new ones. But you see, it's not about losing friends. It's about losing people you should have never lost. So we have to be careful that we don't become blinded by love. But how do you do that? We can sit up here and we can talk to it blue in the face and come up with a formula. But like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until you get hit. See, you can talk about guarding yourself against it until that one person comes in your life and you become mesmerized. You become enchanted with that person. Then your reality starts to change. You start to slowly slip out of real reality and into a reality that you're making as you go along, which can be problematic. Once your eyes are blind, everything else follows. You can't see the truth, and nor can you hear it anymore. So, I've had situations with people that I cared about. I've had situations with people over this particular thing that I had some suspicions about, but didn't really care one way or the other how they took things. That's not always a good thing either. Sometimes even the people that you don't care about can play a significant role in your life. But when you're blinded, it's hard to see anything that makes sense. Because remember, you're out of touch with reality. Sometimes you can't see that a person that you love is an asshole to other people. See, we even get to the point where we can love a person so much that we think everyone else are assholes. And that's just the light part of it. It gets much worse than that. I've known people that were in love with someone to the point where they can just blatantly do crazy things right in front of that person. And that person will not see the truth. Hey man, do you know your girl just went over there and knocked all of this dude's windows out? Nah, I didn't see that, bro. What are you talking about? Hey man, your girl got a problem. Nah, my girl fine, dude. A man like that is out of touch with reality. And it gets worse, especially when you're in a group, right? When you're in a group, and you can be in a group of people that you are fairly associated with, you know, some may even call them friends. And sometimes when we have such a strong affinity for someone, it can tend to destroy the very foundation of a friendship. I've seen this several times. I've seen this happen. Like I said, I've lost some friends myself in the past because they were completely engulfed in the ugly side of love. See, when we think of love, ugly is not the first thing that comes to our mind because love is supposed to make us joyful. It's supposed to make us happy. It's supposed to fulfill us and make all our dreams come true. So we never think of the bad side. Because for some of us, we don't even realize a bad side of love even exists. I mean, I don't know, 30 years ago, if she would have came to me and said, you know, there's an ugly side of love, I may have said something like, you're crazy. How can love have a bad side? 30 years ago, I probably would have said something like that. But after experiencing that side several times in my life, I know that that's true. It does have an ugly side. People say, well, love doesn't have an ugly side. People have the ugly side. Well, without people, you can't have love. Love only exists because you have people, because people practice it on one or the other. So it can be joyful, but it can also be extremely destructive if you happen to find yourself on the wrong side of it. Usually it happens in relationships, whether it be a friendship or marriage or courtship, where someone has fell in love with a person that happens to be an awful person. I've done it myself. I've loved people. I only love women. I don't love men. But I've loved women that were very good people. I know that now. I wish I hadn't known it then. But you see, I didn't listen because I was blinded. And so I was blind and deaf. I didn't hear the truth. I didn't want to hear people telling me the truth about a person. See, we can get like that. We can love a person so much that we don't want to hear what other people have to say about that person that doesn't fall in line of how we feel about that person. It just doesn't jive. Like if you have a particular bond with a person that you love and everything is peachy cream, and then somebody comes on talking about something, hey man, this person you messing with is fucked up, man. They're doing this and they're doing that. Man, you don't want to hear that shit. Like, what the F is this person talking about? And that's where we get in trouble. You know, like I said, I don't really know how to guard against it. You know, I don't know how to really guard against it. I just know that there is an ugly side. And that ugly side is very destructive. And it can cause us to go blind. It can cause us to go deaf and dumb. Because when you're blinded, you can't see the truth. And when you're deaf, you can't hear the truth. And when you're dumb, you don't speak the truth. And so you do dumb things like hurt other people, miss things that you should have seen, say things that you should have never said, read people the wrong way, misjudge others, and even turn good people bad. You know, being 52 years old, experiencing all these things in life, and gathering the information from these experiences. When you look back on them, when you were going through them and you felt some kind of way, some of us who've gone through these types of things may have felt worse than others, may have felt that at the time things weren't funny or as easy as you would like them to have been. But when you make your way out of these situations, and later on in life you can reflect back on them, you see that that ugly side of love got you, and that you made some bad choices. You said some things you can no longer take back. You've hurt some people you should have never hurt. You trusted people you should have never trusted. You cut the legs out from under good people and treated bad people with the utmost kindness, simply because we're blinded. This is what love can do when you allow it to blind you. It's true. Love can make you blind. It can make you deaf, and it can make you dumb. I mean, I've seen it in people to where they've gone out of their way to make excuses for clear bad behavior, going out of their way to make excuses clearly for people who are doing other people wrong. I mean, it can even get you to the point where you no longer see right and wrong, at least not in the way it's supposed to be seen. See, you get to this point where it's not a matter of right and wrong, but because you love this person, whatever person is coming to you and saying that this person is doing X, Y, and Z, you will find wrong in that person that's telling you that, and right in the person, right, that is being accused. This is how animosity sets in. This is how deep wounds are created. This is how some wounds don't heal. This is how things escalate, and sometimes they turn into a tragedy. Simply because we were blinded, we were deaf, and we were dumb by love. So what do you do, Mr. Black Knight? How do you stop this from happening? Well, I don't know if you can stop it. I think the best thing you can do is try to realize that you're in it early. Try to realize early that you're in it. Then make every effort to get out of it and get back on the other side of love, rather than staying on the ugly side, the wrong side. I think that's the only thing you can do. Now, not everybody goes through this. Some people are very, very psychologically strong and won't allow themselves to fall out of touch with reality under no circumstance. Maybe those people are exempt from it. Let's be realistic. That's not all of us. That's not the majority of us. Most of us fall under the spell of the ugly side of love, and we do bad things. Sometimes you do things that you have to pay for with time, because you've gone off into a jealous rage because you love the person that you shouldn't have given all that love to. And then they turn around and they do something to you that is unforgivable, and you still can't see it. And then you take that anger out on someone that doesn't deserve it. Sometimes that can turn into a tragedy, depending on who's defending and who's attacking. I've seen that play out too. So you have to be careful about love. You have to understand it. It's a force. It's a force that can't be stopped by anyone on earth. So stopping it is a no-no. But you can control yourself. You can make up your mind to not allow make up your mind to not allow it to affect you to a certain point. And I'm guilty of that. I've allowed it to affect me because I'm a compassionate person. You know, I'm a Pisces. We pretty much love people. We often get misunderstood, but it comes with the territory. But we like other people. We love people. Sometimes it's to our detriment. So I've been on the bad side of that a few times. But you get through it. You try your best to get through it. And when you get through it, you learn from it. Sometimes you just have to cut people off. Even when others are telling you not to. Sometimes when we listen to others who tell us not to, it's often to their benefit and not ours because they don't understand how you feel. See, a person that's in love with someone that's hurting another person doesn't understand the person who got hurt, doesn't understand how that person feels. And because they have love for the other person that hurt that person, they side with the one that they love, which makes the situation even worse. Because remember, when you're blinded by love, there is no fairness. There is no balance. The scales have been tipped to one side. And you see, when there is no balance, life doesn't work properly. Life must have balance. If the scale is tipped too much to one side, then chaos ensues. For example, if everything was bad, we all would be insane. Because you can't have bad stuff all the time. That's not the way life works. So we will all be in chaos, utter chaos. And let's flip it to the other side. If everything was good and everyone was good, we'd be in chaos still. You can't have that either. You would actually lose your mind that way too. Imagine living in a world where everybody is nice, everybody smiles all the time, everybody says the right thing all the time. After a while, you'll start to think that you're crazy. Now, some of you might say, no, Mr. Black Knight, that's not true. I can live in a world where it's peachy and creamy all of the time. It's good all of the time and everybody's good all the time. Nobody makes a mistake. Nobody does nothing bad. I can live in a world like that. No, you cannot. Because if you could live in a world like that, guess where you aren't living? You aren't living in reality. So if you're living in a world like that, guess what? You're probably in a nut house. Because you will officially be out of your mind. So life must have balance. And love is very good at tipping those scales. That's why you shouldn't play with love. Shouldn't just freely give it to people that haven't earned it. Love should never be given by association. That's a very dangerous thing to do it that way. You can give it to the wrong people who can then turn around and use it to exploit you. Imagine loving someone that knows you are in love with him or her and uses that to exploit you. And you still can't see them doing any wrong. That's the ugly side of love right there. We have people walking around like that now. Walking around in a fantasy world. Although they look like they are in reality with the rest of us, they're actually not. There is some fabricated world created by the ugly side of love that doesn't play by the same rules of the reality that we actually live in. So we live and we learn, right? We give out too much of ourselves sometimes. Sometimes if a person isn't capable of understanding what you have to give, then it might be a good idea not to give it to them. But when you're in love with someone, you just simply don't think that way. So, shout out to the strong peoples in the chat. Gab coming through, thank Frankie. Shout out to Chief Disaster. We're going to play the selection. They're going to come back. We'll talk a little bit more about love and see what kind of replies that we're getting from the Quiet Drive. I want to read some comments that I got from last night's broadcast. This is the Urban Black Knight. This is the Quiet Drive. I'll be right back. Enjoy the selection. Oh, excuse me. Let me start over. My Gloria, things have been the same since you went away. Yeah, Gloria, my Gloria, yeah. I don't wanna see another day. Seems like only yesterday I beheld your sweet face in my lonely room. Gloria, my Gloria, yeah. Things have been the same since you went away, yeah. Gloria, my Gloria, yeah. I don't wanna see another day. Isn't it funny how time can change? All the things you once believed, time will change the way I feel.
'cause in my mind, it's you and me. You and me, Maria, my Gloria, yeah. Things have been the same since you went away. I just can't go on, Gloria. Baby, I don't wanna see another day. I'm so lonely. Isn't it funny how time can change? All the things you once believed. Oh, the time will change the way I feel. 'Cause in my mind, it's still you and me. You and me. Gloria, my Gloria, yeah. Things have been the same since you went away. I just can't go. Gloria, Gloria, Gloria. I don't wanna see another day. I don't wanna see no another day without your love. I don't wanna see another day. It's a real sad thing, but I don't wanna see no another day without your love. I don't wanna see no another day. It's gonna hurt me, but I don't wanna see another day. I can't stay away no longer. No. I just can't bear to be.
All right, welcome back to the Quiet Drive. I am the Urban Black Knight. We are talking about the ugly side of love. You know, another thing I would like to add to that is, see, when you're on that down slope, on that other side, that ugly side, things become, I would say, a little extra. Things become a little extra. You can fall into a psychological phase of thinking that people are against you. And then you can hear them saying, you can hear them saying and doing things that you know is antagonizing you, right? But somehow it's not real. See, love can make you really feel weird. But sometimes it shows you the truth, even though you're on the ugly side, it shows you the real truth about people. You see, evil people always show up around evil. Whenever you find nastiness, you will find nasty people. Wherever you find evil, you'll find evil. Wherever you find wrong, you'll find people wrongdoing. So see, sometimes, even though you are in that downside of love, which is the ugly side, people can reveal their true nature to you. You see, because when people want to hurt you or when people want to uh, do things bad to you, they become more frequent when you on the downside of love. And they actually boost their efforts because they feel that they have you. And this is their chance to do to you the worst thing that they possibly could imagine. And you have to pay attention to this because these people are showing you who they really are. And they're often people that are close to you. See what I'm saying? So you have to be aware. This is why I tend to try to stay out of a lot of situations with people, you know. Especially when you have a gap of understanding between you and other people. It could be problematic sometimes because you can have different ways you interpret love. You can have different ways you interpret friendship. And it can cause some clashes, you know. Now, if they just stay a little small clashes and not really escalated to anything, then that's fine. But the reality of it is that they don't always stay small. Sometimes they become too large for you to handle. So, being on the downside of love, the ugly side does have its uses. If you can control your mind while you're in that state on that downside of love, and you can see the people for what they really are. I've learned that not so long ago. I've got to see a couple of people's true colors. And I'm very cool with that. I'm glad because now I don't have to pretend with them anymore. You see, here's another thing. You see, when people are doing harm to you and, you know, and they want to do the worst things to you, whatever, what they don't understand is, you see, evil is weak. They don't understand that. They think evil is strong, but no, it's actually weak. Righteousness is all powerful. Evilness can't stand against righteousness. So while they are doing their evil to you, eventually they will fall. Eventually their lives, their evil lives, will fall across your righteous blade. Even though you are on a downside, the ugly side of love, and you're not in the right state of mind because you are in some kind of love bubble where you have put a person on a pedestal that doesn't deserve to be there. And I get it, man. We've done it. I've done it to people who didn't deserve it either. I've had some so-called friends in the past I should have never vouched for. But out of my love for these people, I ended up vouching for the wrong person. Something that I still regret to this day. We can get in those situations to where we do things that even later on in life we wish we hadn't done. How many times have you sat back on the bed or something, maybe had a drink in your hand, I don't know, rum and coke or some Grey Goose, and just start reflect on things. Then you start searching your mind, going back in time, reflecting, and then you realize here's this one person you effed up with that you should have never vouched for. Well, love can make you do that. Remember, we're talking about the ugly side of love that can make you blind, deaf, and dumb. Shout out to the chat. Let me read some comments that I got from some people. Okay, let me make sure I get these comments. Give me 1 second here. Wow, people are still wishing Happy New Year's. I guess people are still partying, huh? I was in the house having me a nice big glass of the goose on the rocks, watching the ball drop because there was nothing else to watch. Now here's a comment here for the channel. Actually, this was a comment made by a woman named Ebony Carmen. She says, I appreciate you keeping it real, my brother, my king. Black men have forgotten that we got off the same boat. If they treat us right, we will love Black men right and follow their lead. I wonder if them brothers out there hollering and screaming about Black female fuckery know that Black women like Ebony Carmen are out there. That was a comment on a show that I did called I believe it was called Loving and Treating Becky with Respect While Treating the Black Woman Like a Slave, or something like that. But anyway, here is another comment. I love and appreciate hearing Black men that love and respect Black women finally speaking up and pushing back against these self-hating Black males. So we like what we're doing. We're getting some positive responses. We're still in the infancy stage, though. The drive will grow. It will catch on. So let me kind of wrap it up on the ugly side of love. I'm not going to speak too long. The drive is not really a marathon show. It's usually an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours tops. Last thing I want to say about the ugly side of love is that it's not how many people we alienate. It's the people that we realize no longer come around. That is the price you pay for being on the wrong end of the ugly side of love. So let me play the last selection of the night, and I'm gonna come back and open up the panel for about 10 to 20 minutes to see if anybody wants to come up. If not, I'll shut down the show and bid you guys peace. But let's enjoy the selection here. This is the Quiet Drive. I am the Urban Black Knight. I'll be right back after this selection.
and games. Through the years, love has changed. You shared a love like a melody. My sweetest moment, I ring here with me. Give me all love. That you trust in me. Oh, yeah. In my life. So sweet. Every morning is sweet to me, baby. When you get back to me, when you lay next to me, our hearts beating as one. Our hearts beating as one. Nothing we can do, 'cause loving you is so much fun. Every time I look at you, your smile lets me know you feel me too. Anything you wanna be, I can deal with because you're right here next to me, yeah. We are trust in me. To be trusted in my life. So sweet. Every moment is so sweet to me. When you play to me. When you dance to me. Our hearts beating as one. Beating as one. Nothing we can do. The sun, the moon, the stars, he can't compare to you and me. Yeah, show everything, and I can't explain, and I can't complain. You never had a rain, the wind, the wave, the rain, the sea. Just you move like you and me, baby. Oh, you feel the breeze, laying next to me. Yeah, feels strong, yeah. Every moment is always to me, baby. My heart, feel like yours. Our hearts, as for nothing we can never come through. Nothing we can do. And you know. Nothing that we can overcome. Waiting for you, girl. You can get it anytime you want it. Waiting for you.
All right, all right. I am back. This is the Quiet Tribe. Shout out to the E Nation one more time and Team PPU, Peace, Power, and Unity. Shout out to my strong peoples in the chat, as always, supporting what we do here at the E Nation. Beauty for one, Dan Frankie. I'm going to put the link in the chat. See if anybody want to come up for a few minutes before we get out of here. And maybe want to talk about a little bit about what we just talked about tonight, the ugly side of love. I'm pretty sure people in real life understand where I'm coming from and have experienced some of these things before with the ugly side of love. You know, I guess if we had a way of avoiding it, everybody would know it. But I don't think it's supposed to be avoided. I think some people are supposed to fall into that side. See, I'm a strong believer in certain things are supposed to happen. you know. And hey, Princess Empire, right? And I believe that certain things are supposed to happen, but many of us have been on the ugly side of love, and we have behaved less than unbecoming because of it. So the link is in the chat. If anybody want to come up, I'll wait a few minutes more and see if anybody wants to chat it up a little bit tonight. We had a good show last night. But again, people, we are in the infancy stages of the quiet drive. We are the E Nation, the Earthen Nation. And we believe in peace, power, and unity. Team PPP. I'm sorry, Team PPU. Anybody have, well, I don't think there's a answer that fits all about anything. Some people will rag against that and say there is, because we just have entirely too many know-it-alls in social media. Failed academics who seem to want to come bring their academic failures here on social media, like the rest of us don't have anything else to do. People who failed at being intellectuals, in life, come here and beats us down with these long, drawn-out diatribes like nobody else wants, like no one else has anything to say. I've had people come on panels and talk like there was actually no one up there, even though there was 7 other people on the panel when the person got up there, but talked like there was no one on the panel. Some of the things I've seen here on social media is absolutely unbelievable. But I can't really get into those things. That's more for my general channel, the Overdrive. We can get into that kind of stuff. Here on the Quiet Drive, we focus on Black relations, promoting Black love, building the bond between the Black man and the Black woman. And we will enjoy some romantic selections as we try to accomplish that. I'm also, and coming up on the Overdrive 3G, which is the regular show, right? We'll probably talk about phony people here on social media and how to recognize these phonies, And that'll be the type of show that you can come in and pretty much get whatever you got to get off your chest or whatever. Because I most certainly do. I actually love my shows. I think my shows are very therapeutic for me because I get to go off on some real live shit. It's refreshing. It's sure better than bottling things up. Yeah. Okay, let me give it about 10 more minutes. The link is in the chat for anyone who wants to come up on the drive and throw their 2 cents in the hand about the ugly side of love. You're welcome right now. The link is in the chat. So going forward, we have a lot of things planned for the Quiet Drive. Originally, I'm going to have men on here who will be talking about romance. And they get a chance for the women to sit back and see how men operate and what we think when it comes down to romance, courtship, relationships, and building the love for our Black women. So, can't wait for that to happen. We definitely got to get some brothers up here. You brothers can't leave me hanging now. I understand the drive is new, but I'm going to need some strong brothers to come up here and throw it down. I got a few who are going to be coming who will be throwing it down. Let's welcome to the panel um, my strong peoples, Dame Frankie. How are you? Actually, Dame Frankie was the guest last night on the drive, and she did a magnificent job. Dame Frankie, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. I can hear you. Um, so, Frankie, what do you think about the topic, the ugly side of love? Have you ever been involved in that? Give us a rundown.
Involved in the ugly side of love.
What's that?
Um, no, I don't think I've been involved in the ugly side of love. Yeah, until the ugly side of love keeps making me think of abusive relationships.
Okay. So what's in your mind, Frank?
Okay, could you repeat that?
I said, okay, so what's on your mind?
I don't know. I have a lot of things on my mind.
Shoot.
um, mainly insecurities. Yeah.
Would you like to talk about them?
I had somebody accidentally trigger a wall that I didn't even know was there anymore.
Really?
And my immediate reaction was to shut him down or push him away. And I was like, I thought I was over this. I didn't do this anymore. But I think what it is, I got too comfortable in my bubble. And because I'm comfortable in my bubble, nothing challenges it, you know. And he unknowingly triggered a wall, and I slammed it up hard and fast. And then I was trying to backtrack because I realized I was being defensive, and I just think I made it worse.
Hmm. Is this somebody that you, of course, you know, you've had a long, what, is it a friendship or a relationship or what?
Just I would say a casual friendship. We never
Oh,
met.
okay.
Hmm.
Well, I wouldn't worry about a casual friendship. Things always tend to heal because most casual relationships, people don't take things, I guess, to heart too much. Sometimes you'll get sometimes you'll get a bonfire here and there, but eventually the fires go out.
Yeah.
You know, I've had a couple of those situations myself,
Yeah.
so I can relate. I've also been
But
triggered. I've been triggered by, because I'm a very proud man. You know, I'm a very honorable man. I've served this country. I've saved lives. And, uh, you know, I've been triggered. So not always a good feeling. But I guess we can't expect everybody to understand it.
yeah, but it's, as I said, it was making me examine myself. And
I can't hear you. You sound
um,
like you're in the ocean. Are you by an ocean?
no, I'm working with this new mic and headset. So
Okay, just put me to the mic. Okay, there you go. Now I can hear you. Now
okay,
what you were
okay.
saying?
I said this started making me examine myself, and And I think what it is, there's a certain level of dishonesty when you own here.
Hold
You
on one
don't.
second there, Frankie. Hold on a second. Appreciate Empire. This is not like Trey Nyrie's show where you guys are growing the channel and stuff. This is more of a real live podcast or broadcast where we talk about different topics. Okay, so if you're looking for like the Trey Myrie thing or the Lily thing, that's not what we do here. But I appreciate it. We will definitely show you some love. That's not a problem. But if that's what you were looking for, I appreciate you coming by, and please continue to come by. By no means am I kicking you out. But I think that if you're looking for the Trey Myrie thing, that's not what we do here. We're more of a just a regular uh, channel where we talk about different topics. But trust me, you're welcome to stay and come any old time. No one's putting you out. I'm just letting you know that that's not this kind of channel. If you're looking for the trade and everything, I think Lily isn't. I think she might be online. But anyway, just hang out and stay, man, and enjoy the show. You're welcome here anytime. Go ahead, Frank.
Oh, as I was saying, there's a certain level of dishonesty when you behind an avatar. You don't have to you don't have to show anything you don't want to show. You know, you don't have to show all your truths all at once. And and I have no intention of showing all my truths at once. Oh yeah, I talk a lot. Yeah, those that familiar talk a lot. I talk about a lot of stuff, and but basically it's safe for me because y'all don't know me. Y'all not going to see me. Y'all not going to visit me. And in some ways, I'm more honest with y'all than I'm with people. I see everything in my life. They see a part of me. There's very few of them see all sides of me. All sides of me ain't pretty. All sides of me ain't nice. All sides of me likes to stay hidden. You know, all sides don't like to be up front, which is weird since I'm on a panel. Yeah, but yeah, there's part of me that don't like attention drawn to me. But as I said, behind the avatar and the chats, you don't really see me. You don't. You're not part of my real world on a certain level. So you know, you're not gonna be in my hometown. You're not gonna be in my house. Um, and when this person was, I don't know how serious they were talking about coming down to see me, immediately all shields went up, all alerts went up, and the thing was to just push away, push away. Nope, 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 nope. It's not a good idea. Not I. I keep, I deliberately keep the world separate. These two worlds separate. These two sides separate. And I like it
Let
like
me
that.
let me jump in there. Got a question. Do you like picking fights with people?
It depends on the person. There's some people they they I have this urge to mess with them to see how far it's too far. To me, it's kind of playful, but if that's not something yourself, it could be very irritating. But I got it's a way of learning. how far I can push, how truthful can I be. You know, you know,
I never understood people like that, and I still don't.
yeah. But
I don't
it
understand
doesn't.
why. I don't understand why people pick with other people just to see their reaction and how far they can go. I don't understand that kind of thinking. That kind of thinking is absolutely crazy to me, especially when someone isn't doing anything to harm you. I don't get that. And you're not the first person I've heard that has that kind of mentality. I just don't understand it. Like, why would you pick with someone or push their buttons just for your own amusement? I mean, don't you care about that person and how that person may feel? Well, obviously you don't, because you're amusing yourself by pushing their buttons, right? So that probably
No,
wouldn't
it's
be a good question to ask. But I just never understood that. Like, how do you become like that? Like, see, I don't do that to people. I don't play with people's emotions. I don't play with their psyche or whatever. I just don't think that way. And I just don't understand people who do. So help me understand how you get like that.
okay. First of all, it's not doing it for the the fun of it.
Oh,
It's
so it's called hold on one second. Christine Williams. Shout out to Christine Williams, strong people. Um, so it's a daredevil mentality?
no, it's a
Wow.
defense mechanism. Before
Wait a
you
minute.
get
So you're saying that picking with someone and pushing their buttons who's not bothering you at all is a defense mechanism?
okay, I know this is going to sound really twisted, but yes, it's a defense mechanism because on a certain level, you, you, they can pull into your emotions. You can become emotionally involved in them, but they can hurt you. So before you become fully invested, you trying to see if they will be driven, if they gonna accept you, the good, the bad, the ugly, and so you kind of test them. Sometimes it's testing the temper. Sometimes it's testing how honest you can be. You know, with them because you're about to open yourself up to them, and you open yourself up to them, and they see something on a side of you they don't like, and they leave. It's gonna break you, and
Wow.
it's gonna
You know
put you
what? That is amazing. I've never heard that before. All right, Liz, you know what? I was going to shut down, but now I can't. We have got to unpack this. Let me, you hold on to that, Frankie, and get all your thoughts together. We're going to have um, we're going to play another selection. And when I come back, we will unpack this daredevil mentality with Dame Frankie. All right, so hold on one second. I'll be right back. This is the Quiet Drive. I am the Urban Black Knight. Be right back after this selection.
You say you love me, lady. Girl, I hope you do. Only you can save me. My life equals you. Kiss me, drive me crazy. Would you do that? Oh, lady. You say you want my baby. Girl, if that's a fact, lady, then now to be lady. As though couldn't live without you. Without you in my mind. You're the answer to a friend. And just like fresh air, you keep me alive. You cannot be spared. I love you, oh, I love you, said I love you, lady. And no power on this earth can keep us apart. You're engraved in my heart. Be heavy, lady. Want you to give me what I say. Yeah, yeah. By the wisdom of time, and I couldn't live without you, girl. I've been losing my mind. Dance to a friend, and just like fresh air, you keep me alive. You cannot be fair. Don't you ever go away. You see, I love you, lady. Really, really love you, girl. And no power, baby, keep us apart. You're engraved in my heart. Pretty lady, do you hear me, baby? I want you to hear every word I say. Yeah, girl. That means I love you, baby. And that means that I want you, baby. And that means that I'm gonna get you, baby. Well. Don't you know that I love you, girl? You kiss me and drive me crazy. Yes, you do, girl. Kiss me, sweet love. Do anything that you wanna do. But don't you ever go nowhere. Please, I don't want you to go nowhere, baby.
All right. We're back. We are on the Quiet Drive. I am the Urban Black Knight. And before we went to break, we were discussing things with my guest, Dame Frankie. Dame, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. This daredevil mentality. Now, you said that it is a defense mechanism. Now, when you were talking, I was trying to understand what you meant. So you're saying that when you meet someone and you don't really know what you're getting, you go into this defense mode and you try to push their buttons to see what happens because I'm confused.
It's not always pushing the button. It's okay. We kind of stumbled onto this. Is okay. How how you always put your good foot forward when you meeting somebody or you're going on a date or anything. You always put your best foot forward. Well, it's more like the reverse. you don't put your best foot forward. You underplay all the good points, and you point out, emphasize the negatives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which both of those are wrong
Um.
to approach the situation, but that's a topic for another show. That's bad
Uh-huh.
information.
Yes.
And that's probably at the root of a lot of bad breakups in marriages and relationships, putting your best foot forward or your worst foot forward. That's actually bad information. That is something you should never do when you meet a person. But we'll get into that on another show. I'm gonna do that on another quiet drive. I'm gonna break that down and tell you why that's terrible information. You should immediately erase out of your head. You should never pass that information on to someone else. Go ahead.
Yeah. I do not. This is just a situation with me and stuff like that. And I've dealt with it before in the past, and I've shut it down, tone it down. It's don't always deliberately pick, but it's like there's some part of you that just wants to, and not necessarily prick their temper. It's it's okay, okay. Each person's different. Like if the person and you realize they gotta have the last word on everything, but you're also like that, you kind of get into a little where y'all each trying to have the last word. And the person that always got to have the last word, they get irritated each time you keep up in the game trying to keep to have the last word. Now, eventually, one or two things that happen. They, well, let me see. I've had where we agreed to disagree. I've had where they blew up and left. And I had the one where they just shut down and refused to say anything.
You know, I don't. I must be from another planet because
No, you're not
one
from
second.
another planet. It's just me.
Hold on one second. I must be from another planet because I don't let things like that. Things like that mean nothing to me. But I see that it means something to other people. A lot of people. I could care less who wants to get a last word in or who talks too much or I don't care about it. That stuff doesn't even. I don't understand. Stuff like that doesn't
That works
affect me.
for that particular person.
And I hear people making. Hold on. I hear people making whole life-changing decisions off of someone getting a last word in. Okay, especially if it's in a meaningless conversation that was never going anywhere anyway. Well, whether someone is a blowhard or they talk too much, or whether someone thinks they're prettier than the next person, or I really don't give a F about any of that. Stuff that puny, I could never allow to affect my psychological state of mind. And I don't understand people who get involved in stuff like that and then try to fashion a new version of themselves because of it. And then go out and tell other people that you've actually done that to yourself as a result. That I just can't figure out.
Hey, it is what it is. I don't know. It's
I
just a
don't know
part
what
of
you say.
me.
I don't know. No. It is what you made it is. Not is
Yes,
what
it
it
is
is.
me. It is.
See,
I keep
because,
saying it.
no,
It
because if
is
you
what it is
say
for me.
no, because when you say it is what it is, and that involves other people.
Hmm.
So it isn't is what it is. It's what you made it is. That's your
Yeah.
is.
Yes.
It's not a part of my is or other people's is. That's a personal is that you created for yourself. So it is what it is to
Exactly.
you.
Yes. What I said. It is what it
Oh, okay. I
is.
thought you meant, oh, I thought you meant overall. Oh, my bad.
No. No. No, 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 no. This is just uniquely me. And it don't even, it's kind of a weird flirtation in one sense. But it's just like there's a part of me that just don't want to be put on a pedestal. We kind of discussed this before. I
First of all,
want
saying something nice about you is hardly putting you on a pedestal. Are you that afraid of yourself that if someone says something nice about you, you start to freak out and have some kind of illusion about someone putting you on a pedestal? Simply because they said something nice about you or they complimented you?
mm, no, but they seem is when it keeps saying phrases like "you perfect," "you wonderful." I'm not perfect, and I keep saying I'll say, "That's nice,
Who
but
said
I'm
you were
not
perfect?
perfect. You're not seeing me."
Who said you were perfect? I've never heard anybody call you perfect.
Well, nobody here, yeah, you never heard anybody here say
Oh,
I
you're
was
talking
perfect.
about someone else. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, but are they comparing me to another person and they see me as perfection and this person as uh, below their nose, and I'm trying to explain to them, no, you know, I'm just as bad as she is about anything, you know, whatever we was discussing. I know what we was discussing, but I ain't talking about it, and I could be just as bad. In fact, she is being nice. If it would be me, you would be getting all kind of hell. You better be glad I ain't your woman, cause I wouldn't put up with what she put up with, you know. And I gotta make them see me clearly, not see this idea in their head of perfect me, cause they don't really know me. They're seeing an outside me. They're not. They don't know
Let
me
me ask you this.
like that.
Let me ask you
Uh-huh.
this.
Mhm.
Why don't you want to be who you really are? See, because me, I'm just me. When whatever you hear or see, that's who I am. I don't spend time trying to be someone else or hide who I am or try to make up some carbon copy of myself and give it another name. I'm just Max. What you hear is what you get. I'm the same way in person that I am right now. So I don't understand these people who make up these avatars. And some people have more than one, talking about, well, I'm not this way, I'm this way. Well, that's this part of me. Well, that's that part of me. That's this side. Well, first of all, how many of you are there?
It's okay. There's just me, but each person might not see all sides of me. It's like,
Sides.
okay, I should say sides. They don't see all of me. They see a piece of me. Okay, all right. My best friend knows the most about me. The stuff that, I don't want to talk about, that, I kept hidden or I kept secret. My best friend knows all this stuff. My friend knows a part of me. They don't know all the dirt. They don't know all the secrets. They don't know everything about me. But I'm still the same dame to them as I am to my best friend. Just this one no more than the other. This one I trust more with all of me than I do this one. Do you
I
understand?
mean, okay, let's go back to this here. Um, let's go back to all these sides. Okay. Now, okay, are you
Same
looking at
size as a
that?
mistake.
Hold on, let me say something here. Are you looking at
Okay.
society like this? Are you saying, okay, well, you know what? There's some crazy people out here. I don't want people to know me that way because I don't know who these people are. They could be lunatics, they could be whatever. I just don't want them to see who the real cranky is. Is that the way you're looking at it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, but that's legitimate. I wouldn't be mad at you for that. That's legitimate because there is some nutcases out here, and trust me, I understand that. I get it. I'm the way I am because I'm an ex-military, so you know, so I have a different mentality. But I trust me, I hear where you're coming from. Nothing wrong with that. You don't want to show people too much because there are crazy people out here. There are people who will take advantage of you and exploit you. I get all that.
Okay.
But here's what I don't get though. You pushing a person for your personal music. What if that person has high blood pressure and they can't take
Oh,
stress?
no, 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 no. This is not for my personal amusement. And
Well, I don't know. Wait a minute. How could that not be? What are you doing it for if not for yourself? You just said that you're doing it to see how far you can push a person. It's not a personal issue. Because if it's not, then tell me who you're doing it for.
maybe I'm phrasing that wrong. Okay.
The question is, if you're not doing it for yourself, who are you pushing other person's buttons for?
Okay. I am doing it for myself,
Okay,
but
so now
I'm
that we've
not
established that,
for
that would be a personal gain. You know why it would be a personal gain? Because you are looking for a result. And that result would be to see how far you can go. Is that not correct?
yeah, and it's a form
Okay,
of learning.
so that leads me back to what I was saying. What if the person has high blood pressure that you don't know about, and they can't really be put under a lot of stress, and you pushing their buttons cause them to have a heart attack? You ever thought about that while you're amusing yourself?
I'm not amusing myself.
What if it ends in
And
a tragedy?
everybody, I don't push everybody.
Well, I didn't say you
Or I
push
push them on
everybody.
different.
I didn't say no. See, we're not going to go. I didn't say you pushed everybody, but the fact that you push someone at all to see how far you can push them, that can be extremely dangerous with some people. You don't know what condition they're in. What if they pass out or have a seizure because they became aggravated, or what if they're already suffering from depression and you cause them to, and you push them to the point where they pull out a gun and blow their own brains out right in front of you? Then what?
Okay. I never really
I'm just trying to
pushed
get you to see
anybody.
how dangerous that can be.
I don't think think it's necessarily pushing what I do is necessarily pushing at them. More like I, it's like I'm trying to get them to see me the way I see me. Wait a minute. It depends on what it is we're talking about. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna give you an example of somebody that I was kind of pushing and I got enjoyment out of it, but I wasn't I wasn't pushing in the sense of trying to find a relationship. It was like they were they were firing up my mind. Okay, okay. I had got into a discussion with Charles, and my mind was listening and watching to not fall for any traps of his. I found
One
amusement in
second, Dan
trying
Frankie, you have a question from the chat. And the link is in the chat, people. We may as well, we'll stay on for another 30 minutes or so. Depending on how good this conversation is getting. It's getting good right now. So we're still on. The link is in the chat if someone else wants to come up and chime in. And Dane Frankie, you have a question from the chat coming from Christine Williams. It says, Dane Frankie, may I ask you your age? Shout out to the
okay.
E Nation and Team PPV in the building. Christina Williams, E Nation, Peace, Power, and Unity to You, sister. Team PPU. Go ahead, Dan Frankie.
Okay, my age, and it's kind of embarrassing, but because of my immaturity level, but I am
Wait, you said,
born.
wait. You said, hold on. You said what? You're getting low again. Speak back into your mic.
Oh, oh, okay.
Mhm.
I said it's kind of embarrassing because I have a certain immaturity level, and I'm aware of it. But I was born in '71,
Okay, I know exactly how old you are. Okay, is that good enough, Miss Christine?
and other of my age are not this immature.
All right, you don't have to to beat yourself up. We don't need any of that. We're trying to uplift people here. We don't want people to feel down and out and all of that. We're trying to do the opposite. This is the E Nation. We want to build people up. That
Okay.
includes you. I don't want you up here feeling down and beating yourself up and all that. No need for all of that. We're not trying to see you go down into the dumps. We want to see you go up.
Well, when you told you're not acting your age, you've been told this quite a few times. It kind of sinks in.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you see, you have control over that, though. See, first of all, I'm
It,
52, right? If somebody come to me talking about, hey, Mr. Black Knight, you're not acting your age, I'm not even paying that person any attention. Like, get out of my face with that, for real. Are you serious? And usually the person that's saying something like that is not even half your age. Live to see my age first before you come and try to tell me something. Because that's an accomplishment within itself. I don't have time to listen to silliness by people who don't know who I am. Come to them like, well, you need to accurate. Man, get out of here, man. I don't want to hear that. So you have control over that.
it's been a while. I think it's when I'm around the kids, the silliness come out more so,
We all
and
have a kid in us, Frankie. We all do. We all get silly sometimes. That's normal. I get
okay,
silly sometimes, and I get silly and goofy sometimes too. We
okay,
all do.
good. Yeah, yeah,
To me, that's
and
not immaturity if it's You do it sometimes. It's not immaturity. That's normal. We all do it.
Okay.
Unless you don't want somebody to say that you're not out of your mind. I mean, if you want someone to say you've lost your mind and you're comfortable with that, I guess I wouldn't know what that means either. But if it works for you,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I got a question
Okay.
though.
Go ahead.
I am curious about one thing because this isn't the first time you've said this.
Mm-hmm.
You said this last night, and you and I, we talk in the back chat. You said this several times back then. You said it again tonight. What is it with you and this pedestal thing? Now, if you don't feel comfortable talking about that, you don't have to answer that question. Only answer it if you're comfortable answering it. So I noticed that it's come up several times, and I'm like, what is it with this pedestal thing? Okay, is there some kind of bad behavior attached to that, or did someone put you up there and everything come falling down like a house of cards, and there was a bad experience? What is it with the pedestal thing? If you want to answer the question.
When I see myself angry at the pedestal, um, one of the memories that come up. Okay, my mom and my dad never married, so I was raised by my mom. But I knew I had a dad. I knew his name, and I've seen him one or two times. Okay, I guess when I was about two, came to my grandparents, visit, saw him, and it was excited that this is my dad. And then he was talking with me about come and visit with him and to see my grandparents and stuff like that. And I
Okay, let
was all
me
excited.
let me stop you for 1 second. Do you have a photographic memory?
Um, no, but I do remember a lot of stuff from when I
I'm
was
about to
little.
say, okay, that was my next question. Have you been told by a doctor or anyone that you have um, uncanny recall?
Mostly family members.
Huh?
Mostly family members. In fact, I
Yeah.
got into a
Well,
little bit of it.
I've only known you. I haven't known you as long as your family has known you, but it sticks out to me like a sore thumb. Your recall is insane, and that's a compliment. That's not a put down. Your recall is insane. I mean, you
Oh,
got vivid detail. I mean, when you talk and a person can visualize, that's serious detail. That is ridiculous recall.
yeah, yeah. Closest thing was uh, when I was telling a cousin about a dream, and
Okay,
I
but
was
here's the.
telling her, and she
I'm
said,
sorry.
"Forgive
I'm
me."
sorry. Listen,
Mhm.
for the sake of the show, we don't want to go too far back. We don't want to get into a long. Remember we are doing a show, so you want to try to keep the audience in the know. So you want to get
Okay,
to the
okay,
point a little quicker. We cool in the
all right.
back chat. You can go tell stories until the cows come home. But on the show, you want to
Okay,
try to keep the audience engaged. You don't want to get into these long, lengthy, drawn out things. Go ahead.
okay, all right, all right. Let me just get to the quickness. I got excited. Went told my mom, "Yay, we're going to see my grandparents." And she was like, "No, baby, you're going with your dad. Mama not going to be able to go. I have to work. I can't go. He wants you to go." And I was stressed because I wanted to go, but then all of a sudden I realized I don't know this man. I never met this man except for one other time. I don't know him. Nobody I knew was gonna be there, and I had a tantrum because I wanted to go, but I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go by myself, and I was trying to get, I was trying to name relatives that could go with me, even if it was for like one day, and it wasn't happening. And I don't get. No, my family do not put up with tantrums. I don't put up with do tantrums because they was gonna get my behind whipped. So, but this was out of over the top for me, and it was like you don't have to go. And so, but I wanted to go. So it was, my mom and my dad was like, okay, we're gonna try every summer until you're ready. 7 years old, I was ready. Call my dad. Some strange woman answered the phone, but it wasn't unusual. He got relatives. So I was like leaving a message. She started questioning me. I don't remember what the questions were. My mom like was half hearing, and she was like, "Wait a minute, who are you talking to?" I don't know, some strange woman on the phone. And she started talking. Come to find out, my dad got married. He didn't tell his wife about me, and he needed time to break it to his wife that I exist. Okay, so we left it up him. He's gonna call us back. We're supposed to call when he talked with her and see where we go from there. 7 years later, 14 years old, I gave up. I stopped. Well, actually, before that, I tried to call because I was like,
I,
but
I'm sorry. I don't know
so
what's going on. I don't
what's going on?
know. I got lost somewhere in the middle of this. I'm not. I.
Okay, when I think of the pedestal and I get angry about it,
Oh, that's right. That's
that's
what we're talking about. Okay, go ahead.
my mind.
Okay.
That's the thought that
Okay.
comes to my mind. That memory of,
Okay. Now, the memory of what
that
exactly? Like, hold on one second.
connection.
Hold on. Wait a minute. The memory of what exactly? Just tell me what it is. We don't have to go into these lengthy. Just give me like
So,
what memory
okay,
you're talking about.
the memory of the memory of my father not telling his wife about me, and I waiting for him to tell his wife. He doesn't tell his wife. When I tried to call to see if he did, all the numbers I had to call him, his mom's, him, his sister, a cousin, all was disconnected, all was lost. There was no forwarding number, or it was a private number.
Okay.
I
Okay. I got
lost.
you. Okay. Okay. Now the pedestal thing. Okay. This is what's not connecting for me. You have this memory of your father not telling his wife about you. I'm not sure how that's related to a pedestal that your father was you your father's favorite? Like was your daddy's little girl or something like that? Like what? I'm having trouble connecting that
How
with
the
the
pedestal.
pedestal.
Okay, cute baby, cute kid, always dressed up, always telling how cute you are, and
Oh, this is
he,
you that he's doing this with? This is you he's doing this to? Like you're the cute baby, you're the cute kid, they always dress up. That's you?
that's me. Family did that. He did that when he did see me. You know how cute you are.
Who did
How
he do it to? Who did he do it to? Did he do it to you? Is what I'm saying?
he's okay. I don't know why I made that connection. I just know that that's the first thought that comes through when I'm angry at the pedestal. It's like because I had a tantrum and didn't want to go by myself with him.
Ah,
I
Christine Williams. She
good
says
enough.
reject. Okay, so okay, this makes a lot of sense. Christine, shout out to Christine Williams, E Nation, part of the first royal ladies of the E Nation. She says rejection. Now that makes a lot of sense. So you associate the pedestal with rejection.
Exactly. I was being bad. My
Uh,
family do not pull a tantrum. We don't
why,
care.
why do you just why didn't you just say that? Why we had to go on this lengthy? All right,
Hey,
well, anyway, never mind. Okay, okay, so you associate that with rejection. Okay, I get it now. That's probably what. Okay, yeah. Wow,
so
that's
if I can't have a tantrum, if I can't have emotional moments, if I can't be a bitch, if I can't be these other sides of me, then you're not seeing all of me.
all right. Well, you see, I hear what you're
If
saying, and you're definitely
I
entitled to. Well,
what about the
I hear what you're saying. I mean, you're definitely entitled to as many sides of yourself as you can possibly create. I just don't get the side thing. Like, I, I
it,
mean, if I'm talking to a person, okay, I just want to talk to a. I don't want to talk to all these sides. You know, I
you
just want to
are
talk to a
talking
person.
you are talking to a person. You are
No,
talking
but here's the
to
thing. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, right? You meet a person at
still
McDonald's.
person.
Okay, you buy a Happy Meal. Do people still do that? I well,
Yes,
maybe
sir.
not a Happy Meal. Maybe a burger and some fries. Anyway, you're meeting the person and you're having a conversation with a person that you think is the person you're actually talking to. And then by the time you get up and go get a drink, you come back and you're talking to someone else in the same
No,
body. Then you get up and go to the
no.
bathroom, you come back, now you're talking to someone else.
You
You
think
turn your head to the left, you turn it back, you're talking to someone else. I mean, come on with it. That's
okay?
a lot.
You thinking of civil? That's not. I'm not having a split personality. This is just me.
But isn't that what sides are? Different realities of yourself?
Okay, okay. I don't know if I'm explaining it right,
Right, because you're
but
saying like, okay, you said there's a side of you that you call the bitch, right? There's a side of you that's called the tantrum, that throws tantrums. There's a side of you that does what else? So far, we got the bitch and the tantrum thrower. Now, what's the other one do?
nosiness,
Excuse
silliness,
me?
um,
Silliness. Uh huh.
um, childish,
Okay, so you got
selfish.
one that's a bit. Okay, so that's five. Let's start with five. So you got one that's the
They're
bitch.
not.
You got one that throws huh?
They're not personalities on it. They just me at
Yeah,
moments when I
but how do they operate independent of thought and
operate independent.
personality?
They don't operate independent. You're trying to put a personality to it. They don't operate independent. But there'll be moments when I'll turn into a isolated hermit, don't want to talk to nobody, don't have any manners, could care less how you feel, just want to be all up in myself. And you'll have moments like that when I'll be like that. There'll be
Mhm.
moments when I am I am angry, and there'll be moments when I just don't want to do anything. I'm depressed or I'm in a
Now,
funk or
now here's the thing with that, right? Now you can be like that. No one can tell you you can't be like that. By all means, you have every right to be the way you want to be. But the issue comes in when you are like that around other people. And that's something you just can't do. Because everybody is
Yes,
not going
that's
to be so, hold on one second. Because everybody's not going to be so understanding and just say, okay, that's Frankie and one of her sides and stuff. We live in an unforgiving world. Everybody is not going to see it the same way when you behave that way. See, so
okay.
you can be that way fine as long as you're by yourself when you're doing it.
Exactly. That's when
Mhm.
you don't do those sides. I'm
Hey,
okay. If I'm in one of them things and I see you, you will go, "Hey, how you doing?" I'll be like, "I'm fine," or "I'm good," or "I'm okay." It's and you don't see that side. You might notice that I am not out and about anymore, or that only you might see me at a certain time of the day. You might not see me for a couple of days. You might see me be quieter than usual, or don't really feel like talking too much. Yeah,
I don't
you
understand.
close.
I don't understand something. Okay, are you are you not interested in being the best person you can be?
The best person I could
Yeah, you
be.
can possibly be. Are you not interested in that at all? That doesn't float your boat. That doesn't give you any interest. You want to
The
be this
best.
person with all of these sides and different mood swings and stuff.
Okay.
A walking, a living, breathing, walking ball of confusion.
I'm not saying I'm always in the bad moods. I'm always in these moods, but they don't get expressed. I do not show them to people is for that reason. You can't just be showing people that you're in a bad mood, you're having a bad day, you want to be left alone, you want to be isolated, you or you are it could go everywhere to being too happy, um to not being happy. It's just is, And for the longest time, I could not express all those. You're being told to behave, to you attract the attention you don't want. If you want to
So
be
somebody,
isolated,
so
then you
somebody
you hide
forced
that,
you to, right? So
huh?
you was forced to keep it. So you was forced to keep it either under control or bottled up.
Yeah,
Okay,
or when you
so Christina,
a
with
child,
Chris,
or make you feel better, when you just want to be just be.
um, um, E
It's like
Nation member, of course. E
better.
Nation member, Royal Lady Christine has a question. The Royal Lady says, so do you think all of this has to do with the rejection of your father?
No, there's more involved in that, but I don't want to get into that.
Okay. So
Yeah.
basically, you're rebelling at a late age because you had all of these feelings that you were forced to bottle up and couldn't really express. So now later on in life, you're expressing them now.
Yeah, somewhat.
You know you're an adult, right?
Yeah, I know I'm an adult,
You know
and
that
I'm
you're
not.
going to be mostly around other adults, right?
I know.
Yeah, you see, the problem, okay, I hear what you're saying and I get it. But see, the problem is, uh, you're an
What does that
adult.
pedestal?
No, you're an adult and you're going to be around other adults who, whoa, probably not going to take that
They,
in stride.
They don't see that. Most
Oh,
people don't
okay.
see that. Never showed it to them.
Okay. All right. So do you show this to people you love, people who are close to you, or you just do it in secret, in privacy?
I deal with it mostly in privacy. Everyone around does a relative or a friend. Um, but I don't do it a lot because it can bring people down. So if I'm down, I'm bringing them down. So I don't all the time. One of my relatives, she knows when something is up, and she pulled things out of me. We talk about stuff, and and I get it out of my system.
Interesting. So I guess you were on the ugly side of love. I would consider that being on the ugly side of love. Hello, you there? Let me see. Did my screen freeze again? Frankie, why'd you go on mute?
I didn't realize I did.
Mm.
I was trying to see what was going on in the chat, and I accidentally tapped.
So you, so that would got a question from the chat. Speak on this YouTube says, have you considered going to therapy? Dame?
Yes and no.
Okay. Elaborate. Take your time. Talk together first.
Sorry.
No problem.
Yes,
You
I'm
know, you're a little under the weather. We know that. Yeah.
considerate, and no, I haven't done anything about it because most of the time I've suppressed it for so long, I forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, things. You okay?
Let me get a pump drop.
This is the Quiet Drive. I am the Urban Black Knight. Shout out to my strong peoples in the chat. Speak on this YouTube. What's up? Strong peoples, Royal Lady of the E Nation, Christine Williams. Oh wow. We didn't plan on going this time this late, but Frankie is such an interesting person. As you can see, she was on here last night as my special guest. And she's back here tonight, not as a guest, but she's just hanging out up here on the panel because she is a part or heavily affiliated with the E Nation. Okay. And so she rolls with us, and she's a very interesting person. Uh,
Yeah.
so let me go back to this.
Okay.
Let's go back to the pushing of the button.
Okay. All right. Sometimes it's not
Let's go back to
so.
the pushing of the. Hold on a second. Now let's go back to the pushing of the buttons, right? Now, because you couldn't get these feelings out, you couldn't express these feelings, and they were being suppressed by other people. So when you couldn't do that, your retaliation for that was to pick and poke at people, was it?
No, I do more
Okay.
picking and
So
poking at me.
right. So where did you develop that from? Like what caused that? Like you to start picking and poking with people?
Didn't pick and poke at people. Well, wait, okay. All right. It didn't always feel like picking and poking. It could be slightly flirtatious. Um, okay. Okay, like I was good friends with this guy. We had a certain attraction for each other, but we both knew we had tempers. And I would not tolerate stuff that his other women would tolerate. But we had like a friendship. And we had like a flirty, irritating thing going on. Even to the point where we'll physically, I would physically shove him. Not hard. Well, I couldn't. Well, yeah, I guess I could have. But or poke him or stuff like that. That started. That started in high school. That started in high school. So I would I would unconsciously prick his temper with stuff I said, and he would go so far and he would back down. So I started learning him that there were certain things that would trigger his temper, and I would either back off from it, or I know I can go so far, then I gotta stop. Otherwise, I'm setting him off. Unless we at the point where we both are really really angry, but it's very seldom we got that angry, because I learned him and he in turn learned me, and and he said my temper was far more dangerous and aggressive than his. Mine just didn't go off that often. Was his was more a little bit more hair trigger than mine is. But when I go, I go. But anyway, it started off as a kind of a flirtation for us. Now, another person I was attracted to, we didn't get into arguments. We got into debates. We would read a book and we would take it apart and get into these discussions about it, and it would get kind of heated. But it didn't really make us mad. It was like we was it was stimulating our minds and our brains, and it had a slight turn on for it. But it could be slightly aggressive. Um, let's see, another another guy. I was always downplaying what he what kept saying was a positive, because I did not believe he knew me well enough to know that. Or he kept saying how perfect I was, and I never get angry, I never do this, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Yes, I do get angry, you just ain't seen it yet. Yes, I do be sad, you just ain't seen it yet, and stuff like that. And it's like he was putting me on the ground. You're not like these other girls, and you be arguing or you be dressed like that. And I was like, you just ain't seen it yet. I was like, what are you talking about? I said, you don't know me. Yes, I got this other side to me. You ain't seen yet. You ain't seen the temper. You ain't seen me being a bitch. You ain't seen me get into an argument, refuse to back down, and don't give a care. You ain't seen me talk down, because so far you ain't done nothing to make me want to talk down to you. Because if you say something stupid, I'm going to tell you. um, and stuff like that. And it seemed like the harder he kept trying to put me on the pedestal, the harder I was trying to get off of it. So, you know, it didn't work with him because I didn't feel like he see me. He was seeing some imaginary girl that was not me. Yeah. So over time, then I had um to cut out the part where try to cut out the part where I'm picking apart when somebody's giving me a compliment. Sometimes the instinct to play it down still comes in, um, but I'm not as bad as I was. So did I answer your question? It's not always about picking a person's temper. It's just that the first time it happened with this particular person, it was their temper. And it was a test to see how far I can either go or how far or how aggressive his temper was or how fast or what the triggers were so I didn't step in those directions. Don't pull those triggers for this particular person. Another person, it was intellectual. We was intellectually debating, aggressive intellectually, but it was not me stirring them up in emotional tirade. It's just that it was the enthusiastic of the book or the subject matter and different having different sides or different points of view on it and trying to one up each other on who was correct or which information was true and stuff like that.
Excuse me, I'm sorry about
So
that.
does that help you understand a little better?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. So each person it will be individual, you know, but it
hmm.
have some aspect of it to find out, you know, what 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 makes them tick. But it could be irritating sometimes. It could be irritating that every time you're having a discussion, um, you're having um, an argument or a debate, or we constantly on opposite sides, or trying to get the last word or one up each other, um, or not willing to concede that this person is correct. No, 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 I
A lot of that.
disagree. And you twist yourself in a pretzel not to say that this person is correct. It could have it can have negative. Um, it can make a relationship bad. It could, but it's the it's the it's a way of them not seeing me as perfect. If they say I'm perfect, the urge to show them that I'm not perfect is 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 what I fight against. I'd be like, no, I'm not perfect, or yes, I'm a nice person, but you know that gets that happens.
Well, that was a very interesting story. Um, well, we are at the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again. Thank you for coming by. and sharing some personal thoughts with us. It's not always easy to do that. So I want to thank you again for coming. Shout out to the strong people in the chat. Thank y'all for tuning in. And remember, it is Saturday. So what is going on tonight? It will be ladies' night tonight. So make sure you show up for ladies' night. It should be a lot of fun. They have about 3 topics they will be talking about. And Miss Dame Frankie should be a part of that panel as well. She is a ladies' night member, so is Christine Williams. So we'll see you guys tonight on ladies' night. And hopefully, Miss Frankie, things will get much better. You think, okay, let me ask this question before I go. You think that this is something that you're always going to do, or you're eventually going to leave it alone and not do it? You're going to change? You think it's something that's permanently a part of you? What do you think?
I think for right now, it's a part of me, and I'm gonna work to change it. I'm gonna stop cringing when somebody says you're nice, and I've learned to accept that I'm nice. And
Yeah, I mean, that's a doozy for me. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming to the drive. Thank you again, Dame Frankie. We will be back here tonight for a ladies' night at about 9:30 p.m. All right, until then, see you next time on the Quiet Drive. This is the Urban Black Knight. Shout out to the E Nation and Team PPV. Peace, power, and unity. We out. Good night. Peace.
My Gloria, things ain't been the same since you went away. Yeah, Gloria, my Gloria, Gloria. I don't wanna see another day. Seems like only yesterday I beheld your sweet face in my lonely room. You went away, yeah, Gloria, my Gloria, yeah. I don't wanna see another day. Isn't it funny how time can change? All the things you want to believe. I won't change the way I feel. 'Cause in my mind, it's you and me. You and me. Oh, Maria. so lonely, isn't it funny how time can change all the things you once believed? Oh, but how would change the way I feel? 'Cause in my mind, it's still you and me. You and me. For real. My glory. Yeah. Things have been the same since you went away. I just I don't wanna see the other day. I don't wanna see no other day. Without your love, I don't wanna see another day. It's a real bad thing, but I don't wanna see no other day. Without your love, I don't wanna see another day. Ain't gonna find me, but I don't wanna see another day. I can say no more.